Omito for the beat. Omito for the beat. Omito for the beat. Omito for the beat.
Oh hello, quên mất không bật mic. Đấy, bảo là tóc dài quá, hay là mai đi làm quả đầu nhỉ? Xong đi thi IELTS chụp ảnh kiểu in vào bằng cho nhìn cho chất chơi người rơi một tí. Mic không lỏ, mic không lỏ. Mic's okay, mic is fine. Ừm, right, mình thử dùng chat GPT nhá. Xong rồi copy hết cái đống câu hỏi này vào, xong rồi yêu cầu nó hỏi mình. Ok. Mình chưa thử cái này, xem nó có work không. Bảo đó hỏi mình mấy câu bây giờ nhỉ? 10 đi. Uh-huh. Ok. Ừm, Được. Nhưng mà làm nào để use voice mode? Ừm, Bình thường mình làm voice mode trên chat GPT kiểu gì ấy nhỉ? À đây. Ừ. Nhưng mà gõ câu hỏi vào xong thì lại không dùng được cái voice mode nữa. Ngố thế nhỉ? Ok. Ủa? Đây. Good evening. Shall we begin?
Good evening. Absolutely. Let's get started. First topic is time management. How do you plan your time in a day?
Um, I have spec I have a specific app for scheduling on my phone. So every day before going to bed, I would list out all of the important appointments and meetings that I need to show up in the next day, and I would just use AI to arrange them on to different time slots in the app.
That sounds like a smart way to stay organized. Do you find it easy to manage your time, or is it sometimes challenging?
Well, with the help of modern technological devices these days, I think keeping track of time and arrange a reasonable timetable for yourself is not a very challenging thing to do. There's plenty of applications on your phone, for instance, that you can use to come up with the best way to organize your time.
That's a great point. So, do you think it's useful to plan your time every day, or do you prefer to be more spontaneous sometimes?
Well, I think having a plan is always the most desirable thing, because with a plan you can have more control of your life and you can use your time more efficiently. um, Having said that, being spontaneous at times can be fun as well. But I think people can only afford the luxury of being spontaneous if they um, manage their time properly.
Absolutely. Balance is key. Now let's switch to our next topic dreams. How often do you remember your dreams after you wake up?
Not very often, to be honest. I usually um get up and get on with my morning routine, and by the time I'm finished with everything, I've already forgotten everything about the dream.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. Do you like hearing about other people's dreams, or do you find it boring?
Well, the thing about dream is that they tend to be very spontaneous and random, and sometimes they can be ridiculous. So listening to people telling me about their dreams can be a very entertaining way to spend my time.
Yeah, they can be pretty amusing. Do you think dreams can have special meanings, or are they just random?
Well, I've read a lot of scientific research about, the mechanisms behind dreams, and I've came to my own conclusion that dreams are absolutely random, and um, I don't really believe in, dreams being able to tell us things about the future, or, dreams have special meaning. I don't really think so.
Got it. You see them more as a byproduct of our brain activity. Okay, let's switch gears to our next topic shopping at street markets. What are the best things to buy at street markets in your country?
Street markets in Vietnam are known for fresh produce. We are an agricultural country, so the agricultural produce is the best. They're fresh, they are organic, and you can get them at really bargaining price as well.
Sounds amazing. When was the last time you went to a street market and why did you go?
If I'm not mistaken, the last time I went to a street market was a couple of months ago. My mom at that time asked me to fetch her something that she's already paid for at the market. I didn't do much. I just went to the stall and picked up the item that my mom already picked.
That's convenient. Do you like going to street markets when you're on holiday or do you prefer other shopping options?
Well, definitely, street market is one of the one of the places that I considered a must go, because that's where you see the most authentic local life. And there's I don't think there's any better ways for you to immerse yourself in the local culture and to be a part of the local lifestyle.
Absolutely. It's a great way to experience local culture. All right, next topic, daily routine. What do you usually do in the morning?
Mm, I do not really have a fixed morning routine. There are all, but there are a few things that I do every day, like brushing my teeth and personal hygiene stuff. But other than that, sometimes if I have nothing to do in the morning, I would have a long breakfast at home. But if I have like an appointment or like a meeting that I have to show up, um, and then I would skip breakfast, or maybe I would have something to eat along the way.
That makes sense. Do you prefer to go to bed early or late? And why?
Mm, I'm considered myself some sort of like a night owl. I think I work best at night. That's the time of the day when I feel the most focused and the most efficient. So I tend to use my night time for important work, um, and um, and I will sleep in late in the morning.
Nice. So is your daily routine going to change in the future, or do you plan to keep it the same?
Of course. I think definitely I'm gonna have to change my routine to adapt to a different lifestyle. In the near futures, I'll expect a lot of changes. Starting a family, getting married, having children, those kind of stuff. And I think all of those new responsibilities gonna force me to change my routine completely. Hello Nhung, long time no see.
That's definitely a lot to look forward to. Let's move on to our next topic, taking photos. How often do you take photos?
Um, Not often as you might think. Unlike most of my peers who usually take photos of their life, capture moments of their life and upload them, sharing them on their social media accounts. I'm more of a private person. I like to keep things to myself, and I don't usually share stuff on the internet. So yeah, I don't take pictures much. There's no use for it. Hello?
Fair enough. Do you have a favorite family photo, though? Something you cherish?
Actually, yes. And this is a recent one, actually. Last Tet holiday, um, we got like a
Hey,
big.
can you hear me okay?
I'm answering the question, okay? Can I continue, please? Hello? Are you there? Oh, jeez. She's lagging, bro.
Sure, go ahead. I'd love to hear about your favorite family photo.
Okay, so as I was saying, um, last,
Hey there, I can hear you. Photo.
okay. Last Tet holiday, we got a big family gathering. It was a
I'm
very
here, no
special
worries.
holiday for us. And I remember just bringing my phone up and take photos of random moments of people having a good time. And when I sorted through the photos later, I found a particular interesting one. It was like it was like a wide angle photo with most of my family members in it, and I didn't really remember what was going on in the photo, but everybody was having a very nice time, and you can see everybody was laughing and cheering, some even clapping their hands. We actually didn't really remember what was going on, but everyone seemed so happy in that photo, and it's the one that I've been using as a background picture on my PC.
That sounds like a wonderful memory to capture. It's great to have a photo that brings back such joy. All right, let's switch topics to advertisements. Do you often remember advertisements you've seen?
Not all of them, but some are really memorable. I've seen a lot of interesting ones. Some can be very emotional, and I think those are the ones that left the most lasting impact. I'm sorry, the most lasting impression.
Yeah, emotional ads can really stick with you. Have you ever seen an advertisement that you really didn't like?
Um, Not really. I think most advertisements are fun and they are just silly and entertaining. I don't really have any problems with the kind of advertisements that I often see on TV. But I remember once that there's one particular ad that was shown repeatedly on TV. It was interrupting my favorite show, and I think that was the only one that I find a piece of ads frowned upon.
Yeah, those repetitive ads can be annoying. All right, last topic, books and reading. Do you read more or less now than when you were younger?
Definitely more. When I was younger, I was into comic books mostly. I mean, I didn't do a lot of reading. But now, because of the nature of my work as a English teacher and as an interpreter, I gotta do a lot of reading on a daily basis. And sometimes I don't want to, but it's my job, and I just gotta do it anyway.
Got it. So your reading habits have definitely evolved. Do you have a
Mm.
favorite time of day for reading?
Um, Not exactly. I'm pretty busy. And my schedules can be a little bit hectic at times. So I try to slip in, a little bit of reading every time I have some available free time for myself. Like I always carry a book with me when I go out, so I take advantage of lunch breaks or you know uh, some recess time between classes to do my own reading.
That's a great way to fit in reading. Do you often buy new books or do you stick to what you already have?
Mm, I make it a routine. Uh, mm, like, do we call it a routine? Like, I make it like an annual thing to go shopping for books once a year, particularly during the Lunar New Year. I love strolling down the streets. There's a street in Hanoi, by the way. It's called the Book Street, and I love strolling down that one, discovering all sorts of books that I can come across, and find out different kinds of books that I can read for the whole year. All right, and then I collect a whole bunch of them, and I bring them back home, and I try to finish them within the year, and I'll repeat that process the next Lunar New Year.
That sounds like a lovely tradition. Keeps your reading fresh and exciting.
Mhm.
Well, we've covered 10 topics. Great job.
All right, I was terrible, guys. I was terrible. I wasn't good at this at all. I mean, I thought I would be better at this, but well, I don't know if it's the nerves or the lack of experience, but I didn't do a really good job at this. Jeez. Oh my god. Oh my lord. I I should have practiced more, and I should have practiced like more seriously on this. Yeah. I need to show up in the next day rồi ôi. Hmm. Khúc này thì được. Hmm. Ok, câu này cũng ok. Mấy câu này trông trông khéo phết nhỉ. Ừ, nhưng mà có mấy câu trả lời không tốt thật. Nên này. And I don't really believe in dreams being able to tell us things about the future or dreams have special meaning. I don't really think so. Đấy, tự nhiên có cái câu cuối này nó hơi ngố một tí. Đấy, chỗ này lập idea một tí. Lập từ một tí. Não ơi đẩy số không kịp. Fresh, fresh. Produce, produce. Last time I went to a street market was a couple of months ago. My mom at that time asked me to fetch her something that she's already paid for at the market. I didn't do much. I just went to the store and picked up the item that my mom already picked. Okay. Hơi ngố đúng không? Loanh quanh. Ví dụ câu này trả lời khác thế nào nhỉ? What was the last time you went to a street market and where did you go? So a couple of months ago, that time my mom asked me to fetch her something that she's already paid for at the market. Thế em chả có gì để nói thêm nữa. Cái này mình cũng muốn chém nhưng mà đúng là đoạn này hơi bí thật. Thế nào nhỉ? Ví dụ như là đi du lịch đi nhỉ? Okay, we on like a vacation to Nha Trang, a coastal city in Vietnam, and to have like a lavish no to prepare or to buy ingredients for a barbecue dinner. We visited the local fish market. And we got a lot of fresh seafood, freshly catched seafood, at really bargaining price. Thế cũng được. Ok. Thật ra thì cũng chả khác gì câu này mấy. Do you like going to street markets when you're on holiday or do you prefer other shopping options? Rồi, chỗ này mình cũng không khéo lắm này. Street market is one of the places that I consider a must go because that's where you see the most authentic local life. And I don't think there's any better way for you to immerse yourself in the local culture and to be a part of the local lifestyle. Đoạn này nói hơi cố rồi. Đây, chỗ này hơi liên thiên này. What do you usually do in the morning? Mình không có một cái fixed morning routine. Nhưng mà có một cái few things là mình do every day, like brushing my teeth and personal hygiene stuff. Other than that, sometimes if I have nothing to do in the morning. Đấy, tự nhiên but other than that thì không liên quan này. Sometimes, if I have nothing to do in the morning, I would have a long breakfast at home. But if I have an appointment or a meeting that I have to show up lại thế, then I would skip breakfast or maybe I would have something to eat along the way. Loanh quanh nhỉ? Có từ nào khác hợp lý hơn không? Skip breakfast thì cũng được này. Have something to eat on the go cũng được. Okay. I consider myself some sort of like a night owl. I think I work best at night. This is time of the day when I feel the most focused and the most efficient. So I tend to use my night time for important work and I will sleep in late in the morning. Không sao lắm. Okay. Làm sao để thi được 10 tiếng Anh á? Đừng sai câu nào thì 10 em. Ok, đoạn này trả lời cũng rất là dài nhưng mà cũng hơi liên thiên một tí. Ok, hơi alarming nhờ. Okay. I actually thought I could do better at speaking, but this is not as good as I expected. Maybe it's the nerves, man. Maybe I thought that I, need to be very demanding with my answers. I like to do it again. But I don't think, things gonna change that much. But hey, somebody's just joining Discord, right? Who is it? Có ai vừa vào Discord xong rồi lại chạy ra đấy? Vào hỏi đấy, đặt câu hỏi hộ mình ấy. Be my examiner, please. Nay chắc điều hưu quá. Mọi người không sao, không vấn đề gì cả. It's okay. Thấy lúc nãy có thấy anh con Virus đang livestream, mình cũng ngồi xem một tí. I'm asking somebody to join the Discord to be the examiner. Hello. All right, guys, I'm getting an examiner for myself. So, 1 minute. I'm gonna send her the questions. Down. Hello? 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 Anh kéo lên nhé. Right. Can you hear me?
Ủa có nghe được không?
Oh, nó đang ra loa ngoài chờ anh một giây. À, giọng nói của video thiết bị đầu ra. Okay, say something please.
Something ạ.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay. Start with part one question. Just pick random topics and ask me all the question in it, please.
Hmm. Oh.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Why you ooh?
Hmm. Part one. Frame one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same thing? Okay. What are some changes in the area recently?
Okay. Um, I don't really think my neighborhood has changed much in the last couple of years, but recently there's been a couple of new apartment stores being opened right around the corner, and it has made my shopping a lot easier. So yeah, I could see that as a positive development.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I pick a different one?
Just keep asking me topics in question is that in that topic.
In that topic. So, are there any things that you do not like about your area, and what are they?
Mm, well, one particular thing that I could complain about is the fact that my apartment building is adjacent to a very large street. So during rush hour, it could be pretty noisy. Um, I don't know if there's anything that the local officials could do about this. But yeah, if the noise problem can be improved, that would be great.
Okay. So, can we talk about your neighbors?
Yes.
Do you know any of your neighbors?
I do, and it's quite a common practice for Vietnamese people to maintain like somewhat of a close relationships with their neighbors. We have a old saying that goes something like our close neighbors is worth even more than your distant cousins. Basically saying that having a harmonious relationship with your neighbors is very important because our lives are mutually dependent.
Okay. So, do you know any famous people in your area?
Not really. Or not that I know of. Most people in my buildings are retired in people in the construction business, and most of them are not famous. I think none of them are famous. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Mm, use the examiner to choose two further frames from frame 1 to 30.
Okay, so just two more topics from 1 to 30. Any of them would be fine.
Okay. To be fair, I have no idea which one is part 1 or 2. It doesn't say.
Mm, yeah, if it's like a list of interview questions, that would be part one.
Okay. Okay, got it. So how often do you go to a party?
Almost never. I mean, depends on the definition of a party. I mean, if like a big get together with music and alcohol, then my answer would be never. That's not my kind of place. But if it's like a dinner party, then yeah, I do have them every now and then with my family.
So which is your favorite kind of party?
Like I've said, I'm more of a, dinner party kind of person. So having some quality time with family members is always my go-to option. I used to enjoy, going out and clubbing with my friends, but that was when I'm a lot younger than now. I mean, I've grown out of it.
Hmm. Okay. So what kind of applications do you like?
What do you mean by applications? App on your phone or something?
Yes.
Okay. Um, what's my favorite app? That's an interesting question. I've never actually thought of which app that I considered my favorite, but I do think I spend most of my screen time on TikTok. You know, I think it's such a multi-purpose platforms that could satisfy a lot of different demands. From entertainment to education, there's a lot of things that you could get from TikTok.
All right. So what kind of applications would you like to use in the future?
Um, I've been looking into automation and I would love to, create some sort of AI, artificial intelligence agents for myself. That would be an interesting thing to do, and to be able to create like an app for yourself, but using that to control every single application in your phone. It's like having a virtual assistant for yourself. That would be amazing. And I'm looking into that. And in the near future, hopefully, I would be able to create, a version of it for myself.
Okay, enough about applications. Hmm. Do you like to lend things to others?
Um, well, if I'm being completely honest, the answer is no. I have, clear boundaries when it comes to personal possession. And I believe that some things not supposed to be shared.
Hmm. Okay. So have you ever borrowed anything from others then?
I do. Like when I'm at school, I used to borrow stationery from my friends every now and then, and to me, borrowing those kind of things it is normal and it's okay because it's not personal and sometimes it's good to share. Mhm.
Is wearing hats popular in your country?
Oh, okay. Um, it used to be, and I mean, it's still pretty popular, but well, in the past, wearing hat used to be much, much more popular. And I can actually pinpoint the exact time when um, there was a sudden drop in the interest of people when it comes to wearing hat. And that point in time is when the government of Vietnam issued the law declaring the compulsory use of helmets for motorbike drivers. Before that time, hats was much much more popular. Everybody would wear hats when they go outside, and there are all sorts of styles and shapes and colors. But ever since that policy, ever since the regulation was passed, most people, as motorbike users, they have to use helmets, and that just completely eradicate the demand for hats. And right now, hats is considered like a fashionable items that mostly young people wear.
So what about you? What kind of hats do you own?
Um, Let me see. I can confidently say that I do not possess any hats whatsoever. I do have a beanie that I use for winter days when it gets too cold. But other than that, there's absolutely no hats in my house. And the reason for this is that I do not have the head shape for hats. And if I put a hat on, my head just instantly become like 3 times smaller. I don't know why, but it just looks ridiculous.
So where do people like to go to buy hats?
Well, I don't know what's the exact term, but is that the hat shop probably? Uh-huh. That places that specializes in hats. I mean, I do not have any special knowledge about this particular subject. But I've seen a couple of hat shops in shopping malls, and they do have a lot of different make and models. And I do think they can satisfy a wide range of demands. I'm sorry, like, wait a minute. Like, how am I supposed to answer that question? Like, where do people get hats? Like, any
Let me.
suggestion? Like, I mean, for girls, do girls have a special place that they go to for hats?
Well, I think that on top of my head, there'll be occasionally the hat specialized stores in the corner of the street, and there's a very
Mm-hmm.
famous one called Non Son in Vietnam.
Okay, yeah, they are every single corners. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
I
they're
think it'd be
huge.
cool to mention concert.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and they can be in department stores, supermarkets, depending on the price range, or you can find them in the thrift store.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. Hey, that's very nice. That's
Thank
very
you.
nice. That's like an eight and above, 8 plus.
Aw.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an 8 plus because the words is complicated, but it's just complicated enough. It's not way too sophisticated, but it does the job perfectly. That's great.
Ah. And the jerks of the EF set just gave me C2 for speaking, bitch.
You
Okay,
having something in your mouth? You sounds weird. Like the
I'm having
mouth guard.
dinner. Now I'm having dinner.
Oh, you're having. Okay,
So,
you're eating. Oh, jeez.
how often do you look at yourself in the mirror?
Hmm. Probably no more than 5 or 6 times, 6 times a day. I don't know. I don't actually keep count of it. Um but I do have a habit of checking myself whenever I pass like a reflective surface. Not only
Mm.
just mirrors, but any reflective surface. If I just walk by it, I will immediately, look at myself in the reflection. But if you're asking me about how many times, I honestly can remember. I don't really aware of how many times.
Do you think mirrors are a good way to decorate a room?
Yes and no. Sometimes they can be pretty useful. In general, mirrors can reflect light, making it like a valuable tool to make your room, seems brighter with natural light. Um, and it can also make your room seems more spacious as well. Um, but in Asian culture, mirrors can also be associated with bad luck, and depending on the preferences of the owners as well as his or her religion, having a mirror in the room can be problematic.
Why?
Because, like I said, it could be associated with bad luck, and people, many people would love to have the mirrors covered in a way.
I would say because in feng shui, people say that mirror is like a pathway for devil to reach us. That's the reason why people cover the mirrors with a white cloth or something.
Okay, that's specific, and that's very good. That's very good. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I just think that referring it to us as a bad luck can be quite general. And I
I
just mix that things up. I'm not sure if
absolutely
that's
agree.
mm.
Absolutely.
um would you buy clothes without checking yourself first in the mirror?
Never. Never. With my body type, which is tall and skinny, having a clothing item that fit can be pretty challenging. And of course, I need to see how I look in the mirror before making the decision.
Okay. Mm.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, let's do a little part three. Let's try some part three. So there are part two questions. Normally it would be like in the form of describe something and then you should say and then explain how you feel about it. And underneath, you know,
Ah,
below those
found it.
questions would be part three. Okay, let's try some of
Okay.
them.
Okay, I like this. Why do you think teenagers always want to have latest devices such as the iPhone?
Um, like completely honestly, I don't really know because I'm not one of those kind of teenagers. Like really. But I understand um the appeals behind flashy new gadget. It could be a testament to their status, being able to acquire the latest most expensive piece of device. Also, having the newest models of a phone, for example, could be a way for teenagers to show their peers how tech savvy they are, and probably to them, it's important to their self esteem.
That's good. So, what do they do with the old one after buying the new one?
Um, I think most people try to resell them because smartphones these days, old smartphones, does have a lot of value in the secondhand market, and they could still get a lot of money out of those old phones. And I don't think anybody would just throw them away. There are other cases when people give away their old phones to their friends or other family members. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common practice as well.
So, why do they often buy a new one, even though they. Okay, that's a bit repetitive.
Mm.
Okay. So how hard is it for parents to convince their children not to buy an expensive phone?
Um, well, from my own perspective, it should not be hard. Given the right nurturing background, I mean, how do I say this? If the children are raised right and properly, I genuinely don't think that they would feel entitled to asking their parents for anything. And the parents would not have to reject their kids of anything, because there would be like a mutual understanding of boundaries, and they would have realistic expectation. And if the communication between parents and children are clear, then the children would know what they deserve and what should and should not ask, and the persuading part should not be even be in the question. That's my honest opinion about this. But I understand that in real life things doesn't always go smoothly, like my like what I've just said. But and I do recognize that sometimes trying to talk a kid out of something that they are asking for can be pretty challenging. But once again, I like to restate my point that it's not a matter of the decision at hand. It's a whole education process that precedes that event. Okay, so instead of worrying about how to persuade their kids and talk their kids out of buying something, parents should focus on educating them from early on so that they would understand respect and boundaries.
Okay. So let's talk about clothes. Have you ever given clothes to others?
Yes, a couple of times in the past. We have programs in our school that allow us to donate clothing for people in need, and we did that probably once or twice every year. Once during the flood seasons, and the second one during winter months. That doesn't really sounds like a part three question. It sounds like a part one.
It is though. So why do people dress casually every day but dress formally at work?
Well, dress code is sometimes a requirement, like a basic requirement for office settings. And most people, when they go to an office, they are expected to conform to certain business attire. And on the other hand, when they're at home, they have no, there are no rules that uh, requires them to dress in a certain way, so people can have more freedom in their clothing choices.
So why do people from different countries wear different clothing?
Hmm, that's an interesting question. I think culture does definitely does play a role. Um, Culture shapes a lot of elements in one person lifestyle, and the choice of clothing is one of them. For instance, in Asian cultures, we usually go for um, something. What what's the word? In Asian cultures, we usually go for um, politeness and secretive
Reserved?
pieces. How reserve? Yes, reservation. Yes, reservation is a big part of the decision when it comes to the choice of clothes of Asian people. Whereas on the other hand, people in the West are more open with clothing options.
Hmm.
Mhm. Apart from that, I think is the weather conditions. Each
Mhm.
countries and territories have a specific, patterns of weather, and people need to dress accordingly.
Okay. Cái câu này. What are the advantages and disadvantages of wearing uniforms at work and school?
Damn, that's such a classic question. I remember reading about this in English textbook. There's a lesson in English textbook about uniforms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and having everybody in the same organization dressed in the exact same way, I think first of all it shows the what's the called the collectiveness. What?
Equality?
Of course, yes, equality is one thing, but is collectiveness a word?
Mm.
Or
Oh,
or I would say togetherness.
it's like something with like being united.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, it demonstrates togetherness and the
Is that a
unity.
word?
Yes, togetherness is actually a word.
Okay. Maybe
Togetherness and
how about
unity.
like the sense of something?
Mm-hmm. Togetherness and promotes a sense of unity. Yeah,
Okay.
and when everybody feels as part of the same entity, everybody dress and conduct themselves as part of the same entity. It shows a lot of togetherness, and it promotes a sense of unity. Uh-huh. And also it creates some sort of like a professional look, especially for businesses. Uh-huh. Um, Although I do recognize that some modern companies might embrace a more open approach to dress codes, but as a conservative person, do under I do think that having a uniform makes a company make looks more professional. Uh-huh.
Okay. Um, so what can children learn from their parents and grandparents?
Uh, Everything they know. Yeah, apart from academic lessons learned at school, everything a kid knows about life can be traced back to lessons from parents and grandparents. They are like an endless source of life experiences, and they can always provide the kids with advice and guidance about almost everything.
So from whom can children learn more, parents or grandparents?
I would say it depends on the family relationships, and I think this differs from family to family. In some family, grandparents are the one who actually take care of the children and spend the most time with them, because parents might be away working, being breadwinners. So in such families, I think the influence from grandparents can be more significant. Whereas on the other hand, if it is a nuclear family with grandparents living far away in the hometown, and children spend most of the time at school and at home with their parents, then obviously parents would be more influential.
So what kind of help do you think older people need?
What kind of help?
Yes, what kind of help?
Well, I would say physically, um, older people tends to require assistance with mobilization. Um, Basically, they need help getting around. If for older people with bones or joints problems and getting around is challenging, they always need somebody to push them around in the wheelchair, or just watching over them when they use the walkers. Um, or for in other cases, even when older people can walk uh, pretty can walk fine. Okay, they still need help with driving. Mm-hmm. Older people usually should not drive, I think, and uh, they would need help getting around. I mean, like
Mm, easy.
it was not very good at the final part. I just rambled the rest.
Sort of. Like maybe when it's come to walking, you can use the word steadily.
Uh huh.
Is that is that a thing?
It's okay, I think. I think if people can walk fine, I mean, I think I just over explained it a little bit. I shouldn't mention so much about, walking.
Walking.
I just mentioned, like mobilization, they need help getting around or or they need somebody to drive them around, I think. Yeah. Because most of them are not fit to operate a vehicle. Probably, let's
Mm,
stop at that and move on. Okay. So I was talking about physically, all right? So they need help with mobilization and mentally as well. Older people can get lonely, especially when they do not, have their children and grandchildren around very often. So I think it's important for family members to be there and to, show up for emotional support.
okay.
Okay, one last one.
Mm,
Make it
mm,
count.
okay. Mm. What jobs are well paid?
Hmm. Okay. I think there are a lot of lines of work that could be lucrative. Hmm. But recently, I've heard a lot about jobs in the IT sector. I think it's like a up and coming industry, and it's having growing demands for employment, and the job pays very well as well. I think the reasons why such kind of work is so lucrative is because of the fact that it can actually revolutionize a business practice, and it doesn't require too much human labor, I think, and the IT workers themselves can exert such a um, considerable influence to the success of a company that you know business owners are willing to pay them a ton for their service. Another kind of work that is can be considered a well-paid occupation, I believe, is well, let's say teachers. I mean, not teachers at public schools, but teachers at private institutions. Uh-huh. The demand for education is growing, especially in Vietnam, and teachers who opened their own centers um, do make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Right. This question actually caught me off guard. Uh, yeah, yeah. But how would you answer this? How would you answer this?
um, it is a very tricky question.
It's not tricky.
It is.
It's not. It's straightforward.
No, because my mind would go somewhere like if anyone is an expert in any field,
Mm,
then that person would earn a lot in their own field. So there's just no lucrative line of work.
mm.
Like there will always be people being well paid for something they're good at.
Okay, that's smart.
Or, or it can be something like it will always go to some of the essential sectors of the society, like healthcare.
Mm,
It's irreplaceable.
mm-hmm.
Or government, yes.
So because they're irreplaceable, they're well paid.
They're well paid and it's stable income.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
But I do like the IT part. Yeah, it is up and coming.
Yeah, but once again, I just over explain it.
No,
Like,
but I feel like it just it's just easier just to pick something and go with it like what you did.
mm, mm-hmm.
Because the way that my mind is, getting carried away, it's just, I'm just creating like a web of information and just get caught in it. So
No, I think your answer is fine. I mean, it's very smart. I mean, like really, it's such a like a very nice way for you to communicate like a full and well extended ideas. It's not a matter of what vocabulary we use, but it's about the approach that we take, you know, the angle that we use to tackle the question. And I think your angle is very smart,
yeah,
and
but I do
it's
not get
kind of
extra
creative.
point for smart. So
No, you
that
do.
whole time.
Sometimes you do. I mean, being smart here basically means having a like the best route. I mean, there are always more than one way to answer this question, and choosing a way that is most suitable for your own English and the way that you can carry out the answer in the most comfortable way possible while still maintaining the quality of the answer of the sentence. Yeah, I think that is what I call smart. And being smart is very helpful because with the same amount of vocabulary, if you're smart with it, you can show the examiners more. And it's only like a 15 minutes test, so if you don't take your chance, you would run out of time, and they would have nothing to judge. So being smart is
Yes.
very important, and I
I
don't
do
think we
have a
can teach
question
that.
though.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
let's say that let's go back to a question about elderly mobility and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that if we throw in a couple of medical terminology,
Mm-hmm.
would it be helpful in the
um
test?
I can't say for sure, but what's the word, what's the term?
For example, you say that elderly people will usually have problem with their bone or joint,
Mm.
or instead of that, you might say that elderly people often suffer from osteoporosis,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Something like that. It's like,
Okay. Well, that is uncalled for. It's not really necessary, but and at the same time, I think it's a like a good choice of word, but
mm,
I'm not sure about whether they're gonna give you extra points because
mm,
it's the
yeah,
examiner themselves might not understand that term. I mean,
it's
they will.
actually quite common.
Oh yeah. And they might
Mm,
understand it, but the purpose of the test is intended for like a person with non-specialist knowledge.
mm,
So
I
I'm not
see,
sure about if they gonna give you extra points for it.
but probably not.
If there's
Mm.
a more general term, academic formal, but more general term for problems with joint, is there anything like
No,
that?
no, not really.
Hmm.
No.
So it's
I think
like
other than that, yeah, it's
yeah,
just very specific, really. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's you would say that having low density
Low
bone,
bone density.
Low bone density,
Yeah,
density.
that would
Low
be
bone
fine.
density. Yeah.
I think that would be fine. Or something like yeah, it's like heart problems versus cardiovascular issues.
Mm.
You know, cardiovascular issue is fine, and that's a better way to talk about heart problems. But cardiovascular is much more popular than, you know, whatever it is that you just said.
It is still cardiovascular problem. But okay. Nah.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay.
Oh,
All
so
right,
any
now
other
I feel the
plans?
pressure. Okay, now
Mm.
yeah, I mean I did do the test with these kind of level before, and I think I got like a 7.5. I think judging on my performance just now, I think 7.5 is like a reasonable score. Yeah. So pretty nervous.
Hmm.
But it's okay. I don't really mind. There's room for improvement, and I think that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, thank you very much for being my examiner today. Really appreciate it. Okay, thank you very much. What you doing?
Aram anh ơi.
À Ram. Ôi dồi ôi. Lâu lắm mới thấy xuất hiện trong kênh, vào thấy cũng xuất hiện trong Discord luôn. Nó ra là rủ nhau ngồi ARAM. Ngồi chơi ARAM xong rồi không cả xin một tab đúng không? Tắt cả tab đi cho đỡ lag đúng không?
Đang coi mà.
À coi à?
Coi.
Ây da. Thôi rồi chơi đi. Jesus. See you guys later. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna get off now. I haven't had dinner. Oh my lord. I'm starving. I've been working since what, 3 p.m. Haven't got time for the shower as well. Right, so I guess I'm gonna get off now and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Okay? Jesus Christ. I'm terrible at speaking. Oh my lord. I've keep telling people to forget about the pressure and try to focus on English, and instead of trying to give out like a Vietnamese answer, but throughout the whole practice I've just did, I was giving Vietnamese thoughts. I mean, I was translating Vietnamese thoughts one by one, and every single question, most of them, I was trying to think in Vietnamese. I think that's the nerves. I mean, I think for the most part, it's the nerves that sets in, and it just revert me back to my default setting, and I just start thinking in Vietnamese and begins to translate every single word, and it was not as good as I expected, and I hope I could do better in the real test. Like, truthfully, really hope that I could do better in the real test. I think it's very important that we put ourselves in like a mental state when we forget about, you know, the urge to communicate in our mother tongue. It's very difficult, I gotta admit, but we gotta eliminate the urge to communicate in our mother tongue and just, you know, work with our own English vocabularies. And sometimes we can be surprised at how fluent and how efficient we can be with our English. And I think it's just important to let go. And more importantly, I need strategies to help me keep, you know, myself going when I'm encounter problems like I did in the last practice. I do believe that having a clear strategy and a clear plan would do me justice, would be very helpful for, you know, speaking situations like these. And I think this is something that I'm gonna have to seriously consider in the second phase. I'm sorry, in my second attempt at 9.0. For this first attempt, I only have like 2 days left. I don't think there's much that I could do. I just do as much practice as possible with you guys, and you guys see how I perform now. And in the real test, there's a good chance that my levels would not change much, because you know, in 2 days you cannot just miraculously turn yourself into like a different speaker. But there's a lot of things that we could do. I've always said to people, we're not taking the test tomorrow. There's still time, there's still places or room for ourselves to grow, and yeah, everything's gonna be decided on Sunday, and let's wait until then and we'll see. Okay, thank you guys very much for joining in today. I had some good time with the practice today, and I hope you guys can follow it, and you guys can get, you know, something valuable out of it as well. Thank you guys very much. That'll be the end of our session today. I'll be seeing you guys later, tomorrow to be more exact, at 10 on the stream. Thank you very much. Catch you guys later. Bye guys, have a good night, sleep tight everybody. Later, bye.